guys, HardlyBriefDan here with our final episode of August Game of the Month series, Cannon Assault. This will be the last video, like I said, and basically we're almost finished. We have a game, we have keeping track of a high score, we got enemies and stuff. There's a little bit of fine-tuning we need to do, and we needed to add one other enemy. Unfortunately, I'm not going to add that other enemy just because there's a few things I wanted to add in here. A few things I wanted to do is one, adjust the way our current enemy works, which is called a jet fighter, but it's using the helicopter artwork, and I'm just gonna let it be called jet fighter, but it is gonna remain the helicopter artwork because I haven't made another one. But basically, I wanted to do that and then fine tune some things, and then show you guys how to add some sounds to the game because we haven't done that yet, and I think that's important so that you guys can continue on with your projects and add it later if you want. So I apologize for not getting the artwork done on time, but in the end we have a finished game, or a complete game, which is the goal for this month. For September, right now as the poll stands, it's going to be a point and click adventure. I don't know if that's a cruel joke or not, but I will. That's gonna be fun to do. I don't have any story or anything to follow on, so maybe we can work on that together. And I will do better. I will try my best next time to make sure that whatever features I write down in our game design document make it into the final product. But we can just adjust the game design document to fit what we've done here. So enough talking about that. We're gonna jump in and finish our enemy. And I've actually already coded a lot of it because of just because of time. I wanted to make sure it all worked because I'm going to be uploading all this for you guys to play around with and use the final product. So there's nothing stopping you from continuing on with this project. Again, I'm going to release this up on the Google Docs so that you guys can have it. And do whatever the hell you want with it. I don't care how you use it. All the stuff is in it. Everything in it is I'm gonna say Creative Commons use. You can do whatever you want with it. The sound clips that I've added are from freesound.org, and they are Creative Commons use. So no worries. I've only put 3 sounds in there because I just want to show you basically how it works. I don't actually record the desktop audio. I will briefly so you can hear the audio working, but I don't normally record desktop audio, so I didn't want to do a whole thing on sounds. But I did want to cover it at least so that you know how it works. So I'm going to show you the jet fighter, the new and improved jet fighter. We're going to talk about that script. We're going to go over how I did everything, and I'm going to show you how to do it for yourselves. It will lead you into adding more enemies if you want down the road, so no worries if you wanted to continue working on this and making it better. I just wanted to finish a simple game, and that, like I said, that was the goal of this series. So we'll go ahead and jump into that. I'm actually going to go ahead and press play, and I'm going to show you how the enemies work right now. So right now we have a couple enemies here. They don't do much, but you can see that they're coming in from left and right, and we have our big bomb. You see that we got this one, and the spacing of these bombs is different, which is cool because that hasn't been done before. Usually the bombs have been dropped all in these little chunks, and I'm going to go ahead and show you how we're doing that now, and then we'll work on. Well, actually, what we'll do is I'll show you how we're spawning enemies on both sides, and what you need to do that, and then I'll show you some changed script with the ammo dropping. So the first thing first is we have this spawn point over on the right hand side, and I actually changed it to right spawn point, and I changed the name, and I actually added a tag. So if you go to the tag up here and go to add tag, you see I changed spawn point to right spawn point, and I added a left spawn point tag. So we have left and right spawn point tags. Remember, you can go ahead and click on these elements and type whatever you want in them. For a tag, you can change the size. You can have, I think there is a limit on how many tags you can have, but we have 20 right now. Not all of them are being used, as you can see. So go ahead on your old spawn point after you renamed it and added the tag. You can go ahead and add the tag. You can see this ASDA tag I created just in case you didn't remember, but go ahead and click it. And then what I did is I actually just hit Control D to duplicate it, right? So I just duplicated that right control spawn with Control D, and I actually just moved it over here and labeled it our left spawn point. So see, it's literally I just moved it over, and it's called left spawn point, and I tagged it as left spawn point. Now there's one other thing you're going to need to do, and it's looking at the rotation, and basically with this thing rotated 0 degrees, you see this yellow arrow is pointing to the right. It's actually going to initialize, when we instantiate the helicopter on this side, it's going to have it fly the wrong way. And that's because we have the helicopter instantiating at the spawn point's rotation. So the way to fix that is just go ahead and change our spawn point's rotation 180 degrees on the y-axis so it flips it. So the arrow is now pointing to the left, and when it spawns, the helicopter is actually going to fly this way. So hopefully you understand that. I'm going to go ahead and turn on that relocator script. We can go ahead and watch it. You can see it is moving, and I'll explain kind of how all that's working in a second. So basically we have these two right-hand and left-hand spawn points. They do the same exact thing. They have the same spawn point relocator scripts. Nothing's changed on that. And they have a min and max height of 1 and 4.5, same with the right-hand spawn. So that's all the same. The only thing I've added is another spawn point. I labeled it left spawn point. I've added tags to both of them, and I've flipped the left spawn point 180 degrees so that our object instantiates correctly. And I'm actually going to show you that if I go ahead and put it back to 0, I press play, you'll see these helicopters fly off on the wrong side. They'll actually delete real fast. And so yeah, there you go. See, there's one. It's hard to see, but basically they spawn the wrong way. Without this 180 degree correction. Now, the next thing you need to go ahead and do is in the plane folder where we have our enemy, which is now just a helicopter. We had two prefabs. We had a jet fighter and jet fighter prefab, and I changed the jet fighter to a right jet fighter, and then I Control D to duplicate the prefab, like so. I'm going to go ahead and delete that one because we don't need that one, but I changed it to left and right jet fighter. They're both tagged jet fighter. That can remain the same. And you're going to see a few things that are different here in our jet fighter script. And don't worry, because we're going to go over that. But you see this max ammo time and min ammo time, right? These are going to be what we're going to be looking at in just a moment. But basically, I'm going to actually change this to -11. Everything stays the same. Again, we just wanted two different prefabs because we're actually flipping this prefab's model. So if I drag it out here, you can see it's actually facing a different direction. And what I did here is I changed the Y to -180. If it was set to 0, it's flipped the other way. But what we wanted to do is go ahead and flip it on the Y, -180 or 180, depending on what you want. But basically, we just needed to flip the model so it looks like it's actually flying this way instead of the other way. So we have our left and right jet fighter. Now we're going to work on some scripts. So in our, let's see, where are we at? We want to look at our gameplay manager script, and that's the first thing that we're going to be needing to change or add a few things to. And basically what I've done here is I've added another private. We have our old spawn point, our old spawn point transform here, this private variable, but I changed it to right spawn point, and then I created another one called left. So we have our right and left spawn points that we can access in script and manipulate and stuff. So go ahead and add that, and then I went ahead and changed the old game object jet fighter script game object name to right jet fighter, and I added another one, left jet fighter. And this is where we're going to get into. I'll show you. I'm going to type all that out and let you just to show you guys because I think it's better. But basically, this is so that we can add the two new game objects, and so that we can spawn them in the world. So now what we're going to go ahead and do is we need to initialize these new spawn points. So you go right spawn point is equal to game object, and find game object with tag, and that's a new tag, right spawn object spawn point, and then dot transform because it's a transform. I'm going to go ahead and type out the left one just so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So for our new left one, it's going to be left spawn point. It's going to be equal to a game object, capital G and O, dot find game object without an S. It's going to be our left spawn point, like that, and it's going to be a dot transform because we want our I don't know why it's not finding it, but we'll go ahead and do that. Game object. Oh, see, look, I said game object without an S, and it aren't, and I added the one with an S. So make sure you don't do that because that will screw you up. You want just find game object without the S with tag. Left spawn point is the name dot transform. Okay, so now the next thing that we're going to do is go down to our enemy timer, and I set up this temporary variable here. It's called temp. I'm actually going to go ahead and change this to our random spawn side. That's what we're going to go ahead and call it. And basically what this is doing is it's creating a random variable. I just debugged it out to look to see like which one it was going to spawn. But basically, basically what's happening is we're creating a random variable using unity.random.range, Unity engine. You have to do this because we're using the system here for our timers, and it doesn't know which one to use. So go ahead and do unity.random.range and 0 to 2. So basically we're going to get a value from 0 to 1. And what I'm saying is if you get a 1, we're going to spawn it on the right hand side. If we get a 0, it's going to spawn it on the left hand side. I just added this if statement here and copied and pasted all of our information into there. So now what we're going to do is actually I'm going to go ahead and copy all this again, and I'm going to Control V to paste because it's going to be the same thing basically for the left hand side. I'm going to go ahead and add the 0, not a 2. So I'll add a comment: spawns on left side. This one's going to spawn on right side. Right, so what we're doing is we're spawning our enemy, and for this one, we're spawning our enemy. We're saying it's our right spawn point. We find it again, we get its position, then we instantiate the right jet fighter game object at the right spawn point position at the right spawn point rotation. Okay, and then we're gonna run ahead and relocate. We're gonna stop our timer. We're gonna do all the same things there. We're basically just changing where we instantiate the object and make sure that it's the right hand one. So for our left hand one, which we're going to move on to now, we need to go ahead and copy our left spawn point variable because when we get a 0 from our random range here, we're going to spawn the helicopter on the left hand side. So we need to go ahead and say our left spawn point dot position is equal to game objects find game object with tag on our left spawn point. So that's the tag, right? Left spawn point tag transform dot position. So we're getting that object's position. The next thing we do is go ahead and change spawn point here to our left spawn point dot position into our left spawn point dot rotation, and then we're not going to be using the right jet fighter. We're going to be using the left jet fighter prefab. Otherwise, all this stays the same. So you could actually move all this outside the if statement here and just put it down here. It's up to you. I'm just going to go ahead and leave it how it is because it's simple to cut and paste. So once you do that, we've added our left and right spawn points, our left and right jet fighters. You need to go into Unity, and you're going to go ahead and see on our gameplay manager, you have your right jet fighter and left jet fighter game objects. You go ahead and add those two prefabs that we created earlier, and add them there, and that way. It'll be spawning, you know, the spawn is actually set up so it's going to be spawning left and right. There won't be any issues with it. The next thing, and remember, if you duplicated your original spawn point, you should have your spawn point relocator on there. I'm going to go ahead and open that up and show you that it's still the exact same. Nothing has changed because it's going to work exactly the same. So here you go. There's the spawn point relocator script. Let me zoom in for you guys. I apologize. I keep forgetting to do that. I'll go ahead and go on the gameplay manager and kind of slowly scroll through or highlight the things you need to make sure you change. Maybe you can see it better. So definitely you need to add these four variables here. Change the original ones, the spawn point to right spawn point, and then the jet fighter to right jet fighter, and then add the left spawn point and left jet fighter. Here are the if statements that we've added or adjusted. So go ahead and you need to make sure you add this random line. You don't need this debug statement, but you can go ahead and make sure that these two are working as intended or written how they should be. Make sure that it's find game object without the S. That's definitely a thing to note. So anyways, that actually adds our left and right jet fighter spawning. Now the next thing I wanted to do, which you saw, is basically when the jet or the helicopter flies through, it was dropping ammo all in the same exact spot. Remember, it's just dropping all the ammo right here. And so what I did is I opened up our jet fighter script, because this is where we instantiate our ammo. And if you remember, we had this if statement here. It's still the same. It said, hey, if we're between this position and this position, and our ammo amount, which is adjustable, based in the prefab, and our ammo amount is greater than 0, then we're going to go ahead and instantiate ammo. Now, what I did, you can ignore this. Hey, I'll actually go ahead and get rid of it. What I did is I added a timer, and we've used several timers now, and I think they're a lot of fun to use, and they're pretty simple. So I went ahead and created a new private system.diagnostics stopwatch, and I called it auto timer. Okay, and then I made a private variable called auto time. I created 2 public integers called max ammo time and min ammo time. Okay, and these are going to be edited, be able to be edited in the Unity editor. That's why I made them public. So then in our start function here, I said auto timer is going to be equal to a new system diagnostic stopwatch, which this initializes if you remember, this initializes oh my goodness, initializes the stopwatch. So it creates a new instance of it. That's basically what this is doing. It's saying, hey, this timer is new, and we need to initialize it. Okay. Here we are actually starting the timer at 0, or stopwatch. So right when we go ahead and call this function, the timer starts running. The next thing I do is I set auto time is equal to our min auto time. So the first bomb will always spawn with this line here. The first bomb will spawn according to our minimum time. So if you set the minimum time to 20 milliseconds, after 20 milliseconds, this thing will drop every time when it spawns. So the first one will drop at 20 milliseconds. So I did that there. So what I did here is I created a new private function. I called it drop ammo. Okay, and this function is going to stop our timer. It's going to reset our timer, and it's going to instantiate the jet fighter ammo. We're going to subtract 1 from our ammo amount. Remember, ammo amount is a public integer that you can adjust in the Unity editor. So we're going to subtract 1 from that, and then we're going to come up with a new ammo time, and we're going to start our timer again. So you're wondering maybe how this ammo time works. Well, in this if statement, I nested another if statement, and I said, hey, if you can actually, you don't need to nest this. We can actually go ahead. I'm going to leave it nested. Well, actually, here, I'll go ahead and show you. What we could do is actually go ahead and say, if our ammo amount is greater than that, and we'll do another and statement here. So remember, it's double ampersand. So it's and our ammo timer dot elapsed milliseconds is greater than or equal to ammo time. Then we're going to go ahead and drop ammo. So we're going to go ahead and call that new function like that, right? So what I've done is basically we have this giant if statement. We're saying if our helicopter's position and the on the x-axis is less than or equal to 2, and our position is less or is greater than or equal to -2, so it's between 2 and -2, then that's the first check. So if we're between 2 and -2, then we're saying and the helicopter's ammo is greater than 0, meaning we actually have ammo on the helicopter. And then our last one is saying and, again, another and our ammo timer has run out, meaning it's time to drop ammo. Then we're going to go ahead and drop our ammo towards the helicopter. So we're saying, are we between these positions? Do we have ammo? And is it time to drop ammo? If all those conditions are true, then we're going to go ahead and call this drop ammo function. When we do that, we're going to debug here, which we don't need. I'll go ahead and get rid of it just for testing. We're going to go ahead and stop the timer. We're going to reset it back to 0. That's what this does. Resets back to 0. We're going to reset the timer, and we're going to instantiate our jet fighter ammo from our transform position in our transforms rotation. Okay, so this actually creates the bomb, or creates ammo. Then we're going to subtract 1. This minus minus means subtract 1 from ammo amount. So it's going to take 1 from our initial amount. Okay? And then we're going to go ahead and create a new value for ammo time. And the way we're going to do that is using Unity Engine .random.range, and we're going to say from our min ammo time to our max ammo time. And this is going to give us a variability of when and how often our ammo drops. And then of course when you go ahead and do that, after that we're going to go ahead and start the timer running again. It's going to continue to running. It's going to start running again so that we can look to see when we want to drop ammo. So hopefully you understand all that. I'm going to control to save. We're going to jump into Unity. And now on our left and right hand jet fighter, you're going to go ahead and see these max ammo times. And so remember, this is in milliseconds. So this is really fast, okay? So I'm saying for my left and right jet fighters, I'm saying between 75 milliseconds and 200 milliseconds, we're going to drop a bomb. Or we're going to drop a missile from the helicopter. And this is going to randomly change. The first one is always going to start. It's going to drop at 75 milliseconds. So wherever 75 milliseconds is, it's going to drop it, and then it's going to generate a random value between 200 and 75, and it's going to drop one there, and it's going to do it again and drop another one. So what you'll see is spaced out bombs. So I'm going to go ahead and press play, and you're going to see that now. So those look pretty even. You can tell there's some variability in between them. Big bomb still drops, but we're actually deleting, we're actually changing it. So that looks a lot better than what we had before. It adds some variability to it. Having enemies spawn on both sides adds some challenge to the game. I think it's a lot of fun. So there's a few things I want to add now and work on. And mainly now is we have this jet fighter ammo script where basically we have a destroy height. And we did that because well, basically, if the ammo is dropping off the screen, we wanted to go ahead and destroy it. So what we're going to do now, but since all the ammo is always going to be hitting our it's going to be aimed towards our thing, we want to go ahead and subtract. Well, it is subtracting health from it, I guess. Well, we want to set up a collider so that if I'm going to go ahead and actually copy this trigger information from our jet fighter script because we're going to use the same collider or this trigger enter method. So what we're doing is, what I want to do is say, hey, if our cannon missile, so if our cannon ammo hits one of those bullets, so if we're fast enough we can get rid of those bullets, then we're going to go ahead and add some points and delete that bullet because, we don't want, I think it adds a little more depth to it that we can actually blow up that ammo. I think it's a little fun. So we'll go ahead and say, on trigger enter, we'll say if cannon ammo, we're going to go ahead and destroy the cannon ammo, and then we're going to go ahead and destroy the collider. So we're destroying let's see, destroying jet, we'll say helicopter now, helicopter ammo, and then this destroys cannon ammo. So this destroys the cannon ammo that hits it and destroys the ammo itself. We're going to go ahead and make another public integer, and it's going to be called ammo point amount. So this is how much we're going to say, this is how much we're going to add to our current score. So we're going to control to save. We're going to jump into Unity, and now you should see our ammo point amount. I'm going to say we're going to get 35 points for every thing we kill. I'm going to go ahead and press play, and it should, oh, it's not working. That's okay. So let's see. If collider.tag is collider ammo, let's make sure all of our ammo is called cannon ammo. So we'll double check that. Cannon ammo. So we're saying if let's see. So I'm changing the order and layer. I don't know if that affects it. I don't remember. Oh man, shoot. It doesn't. Okay. So before we do this, I want to go ahead and add another thing. I'm going to go ahead and open up our big missile here. It might be because neither of our cannon ammo. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and add these as triggers. I think because the bombs don't have a rigid body attached to them. Yeah. So basically, the what's happening is our jet fighter doesn't have a rigid body. So we're gonna go ahead and add a rigid body to it. We're gonna go add component, physics 2D, rigid body. Go ahead and set the gravity to 0 because we don't want that to adjust. And now I should be able to, yeah. You can actually destroy those bullets now, and we're getting points for it. Which again, I think it adds like a little more in depth to the game. So basically, what was happening is when you have trigger events and stuff, if you remember we talked about this originally, it needs a rigid body to register the event. And so what I did is I went ahead and added a rigid body to our our jet fighter ammo prefab, and I set the gravity to 0 so it doesn't affect it. And basically now when our cannon ammo collides or enters this box collider that's attached to our jet fighter ammo, it's going to destroy it. So the next thing I wanted to do is add a little thing. I'm going to go ahead and open up our big missile script. And if you remember, we had this, if our collider hits our cannon base, we wanted to destroy our cannon base. Well, we actually already have, I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste. I copied it from our big missile, and I'm going to go ahead and paste it in our jet fighter ammo script. I'm going to delete this missile damage because we're actually already taking away damage from the player. And that's in our game stats our game stats script, I believe. We already do that. So you can see where we're subtracting health in different spots. It's not the most organized way to do it, and if you're going to go, if you're doing this to make sure that you're doing it correctly, you might want to organize how we're actually subtracting health, just so it stays a little more organized. I'm trying to remember where we put that. Let's see. I think maybe it's here. I don't remember where we actually put the collider information for that. It's probably, it's on our base. So if I go ahead and click on our cannon base, I go to our cannon base control, you'll see that we have this jet fighter ammo damage. And this is saying if jet fighter ammo collides with us, we're going to go ahead and subtract it. And that was because we didn't add a collider or a rigid body to the ammo. The jet fighter ammo. So there's actually two ways we can do this. We can say we're going to use it on the cannon ammo where we destroy the object, but you could also say if the collider entered. So here, if the collider enters its jet fighter ammo, we're going to subtract health, and then we're going to go ahead and say destroy collider. So you could go ahead and do that here. You can go destroy collider dot game object. Right. You could do that here, like we do right here, or you can go ahead and just. I guess we'll just add it to the base. Why not? Okay. So we're going to say, on our base control, we're going to say, hey, after we subtract the health, we're going to go ahead and destroy that object. So now I'm going to control to save into Unity, and you should see those bombs disappearing now when they hit us. And they do. And they're still subtracting health. So the next thing that we're going to go ahead and do is I've went ahead and imported 3 sounds. I've named one of them Cannon Fire. And unfortunately, you can't hear it yet because I haven't actually turned on the sound to hear desktop stuff. But I'll turn that on when we actually go ahead and add sound. But the first thing you're going to need to go ahead and do is add a audio source to whatever's going to be doing sound. So the first one we're going to go ahead and do is our cannon barrel. Now, this is on our cannon barrel, we have a script that controls mouse movement, and it controls rate of fire. And you're going to see this little audio source here. I'm going to show you how to add that. But the first thing or this audio component. But the first thing you need to do for the cannon barrel is go ahead and add component, go down to audio, and we're going to add a audio source. I'm going to go ahead and adjust the volume because I've tested it and it's pretty loud on my end. And I don't know how loud it's going to be for you. So I'm going to adjust the volume down to like I'll say 0.4. And when you import these sounds, there's a couple things you need to make sure you do. When you import it, go ahead and 3D sounds going to be clicked automatically. You don't want that. So go ahead and unclick it and then hit apply. We can do them for all of them. We don't want 3D sounds because this is a 2D game. So you see I've unchecked the 3D sound. On our cannon barrel, we'll have our audio clip. I'm going to go ahead and open up our cannon mouse control in Mono Develop. I went ahead in our cannon mouse control. What you want to do is add a public variable that's going to be an audio type, and I could have sworn it's already in here. Let me make sure that actually disappeared. Okay. Yep. So, sorry. Go ahead and open up Canon Mouse Control. And we're going to go ahead and add an audio clip. So what you do, saying it's of type audio clip, right? So we're going to make a public variable here, and you can actually already see it. A public audio clip dot Canon fire. So it's called, it's a type audio clip. It's public, so we can edit it in the Unity editor, and we're calling it Canon fire. So I'm going to control this to save, and the next thing we're going to do is when we fire, so using our left mouse button, remember we're firing things or instantiating our cannon ammo, we're going to actually play a clip. And the way you do that is you go audio dot play once, or play one shot, excuse me, and then we're going to send it. See, you can see IntelliSense says it needs an audio clip, so we're going to send it cannon fire. So what this is going to do is every time you instantiate a new piece of ammo, so every time you left click, we're going to play this variable called we're going to play this audio clip called Cannon Fire. So I'm going to go ahead and control this to save, go into Unity, and now you see I've labeled this one sound clip called Cannon Fire. I'm actually going to go ahead and drag it and drop it to this public variable Cannon Fire, and when I press play, you won't be able to hear it yet, but we're actually firing. I'm going to go ahead and enable desktop audio, and I think you should be able to hear it. I hope it's not too loud. I'm going to go ahead and adjust the volume a little bit. But you should be able to hear it firing. Again, hopefully it's not too loud. If I just blew your eardrums, I apologize. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the desktop audio again. But basically what we're doing is we're playing that clip every single time we fire. And what we're going to do is play around with these little audio clips a little bit. I've added, I brought in a couple clips here. This one's really silent. This one's a really deep bass. And what we're going to do is, I'm going to call this missile. I know you can't hear it yet, but we're going to call it missile start. And then this one, I guess I'll turn the audio back on. You can hear it. That one is going to come out of every time we do, I think I'm going to say every time we fire, every time we lose health, we're going to call this one. So health minus, I guess. So now what we need to do is go ahead and add these. So on our prefab, on our missile prefab, we're going to go ahead and, on our gameplay manager, we're going to go ahead and open up the gameplay manager script. And this is where we're going to add this audio source. So what we're going to do is go ahead and say public audio clip. And we're going to call this missile fire. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and control C and copy that. And now when we instantiate our big missile, so in our big missile timer function, when we instantiate that, we're going to go ahead and call this audio clip. So we're going to go audio dot play one shot, and we're going to control paste that missile fire, right? So now in our gameplay manager, you'll see an audio clip here. I'm going to go ahead and drag our missile start here. We need to go ahead and add a component called audio source. I'm going to go ahead and adjust the volume a little bit, so hopefully it's not too loud. I'm going to go ahead and press play, and you might be able to hear this in the background, but basically when that bomb goes off, you're going to hear it. It's like a warning. So hopefully we can hear it. So see, so if you heard it, as soon as it initialized, or as soon as it instantiated, excuse me, the little bomb sound launched in the background. So hopefully you can hear that. Hopefully I'm not blowing your eardrums again. I'm not trying to do that. The next thing we're going to go ahead and do is this health minus, and I'm sorry that was pretty loud, health minus thing. And I might just do this so that when our those little bullets hit us. So we're going to say jet fighter, I know that's not a jet fighter, ammo hit. So when jet fighter ammo hits us, it's going to make that sound. Again, you can add thousands of sounds. I'm just going to add a few just to show you guys how, and you can go ahead and expand this as much as you want. So let's see. We're going to go ahead and do on our jet fighter. We want to go to our jet fighter clip here, or jet fighter source, or jet fighter script. Excuse me. We're going to go ahead and make a public variable, public audio clip again. We're going to call this cannon or ammo fire, and when we drop our ammos, that's when we're going to call this script. So when we instantiate it, so we're going to go down under in our new drop ammo function. We're going to go audio clip dot play one shot. Oh, not audio, it's clip. Excuse me, audio dot play one shot, and we're going to go ahead and call this not missile fire but ammo fire. Like so. So now in on our prefab here, you can go ahead and see on our jet fighter left and right we have an audio clip. So I'm going to go ahead and actually drag our jet fighter ammo. Oh, I called it hit. We'll test it out with fire, and then we'll move it to hit if we want. So now I want to go ahead and press play. That's going to be really loud. I'm going to make sure that it's actually a little quieter because... Oh, actually we need to go ahead and add audio sources to our prefabs as well. So go ahead and add audio source to the right jet fighter. I'm going to go ahead and change this down to 0.2. And then I'll go ahead and add audio source. I'm going to change again the volume to 0.2. You can change a pitch and priority, all kinds of stuff. It's pretty cool. Play on awake, that kind of stuff. I'm going to go ahead and do that. So you can hear that we're actually... We got some sounds in the game. It's not the most ideal thing, and I don't know how well having 12 audio sources is. I don't think that's bad. Maybe it is. Maybe one of you guys know, but we don't have that many anyways. It's a tiny game. But basically we added some sounds to the game. And if you wanted to add an audio clip, like a music clip, I don't have one for us to play. But you can go ahead and like add... let's say add one onto our cannon barrel. You can go ahead and add a clip here. So let's add our cannon fire here. And we're going to go ahead and say this is a 2D sound. We're going to play it on awake and we're going to loop it. And you're going to hear it play constantly. And I'm sorry again if it's blowing your eardrums. But you can hear it. You can hear it in the background. It's going to always play it. So what this does, this audio source audio clip here, is that if you wanted, I'm going to go ahead and say none, but if you wanted to add a music clip, I don't have any that's not, that's made for Creative Commons use, so I'm not going to put, I don't want to get copyrighted infringement or anything. So, but basically if you had an audio clip that you wanted to play for in this game, you could have it run in the background. You could adjust the volume and stuff of it. It's pretty cool. And that's how you do that with audio source, loop, set it on loop and play on awake so it plays constantly. So as soon as you start this scene, it will always loop and play that as long as the game is running. But that's it. That is our game. I'm going to go ahead. We'll start in the main menu. Save all this stuff. We have our main menu. Actually, let's go ahead and maximize on play. We'll go ahead and play the game. We got some sounds. You can see we're gaining the health. A big bomb launched. I can hear it, and we actually already destroyed it because of the leftover bullets. There's one. Hopefully, again, this isn't too loud for you guys. But it's pretty fun. I mean, it's not too hard, so I actually might adjust our health a little bit. Now that we can destroy stuff, it's our health is pretty, our health is really high. So I'm actually gonna go ahead and control save, jump into play scene, go to our play scripts, and our max health I'm actually gonna set to 150. So now it's a little more challenging, right? So we're actually gonna be taking hits, and it's gonna hurt. And actually, our health, yeah. So we got a bomb coming now. It's already dropped. We're almost dead. No. Oh, we died. Game over. Back. High scores. You see 15,000, 14,505, and 1,700 or 7,800. So that is our game. Hopefully you enjoyed the August Game of the Month series. I know it's not the best game in the world, but hey, we got it done. It's a lot of, it's fun. It's not too demanding. It's not too hardcore or anything. It's a good time. I think it's good. I think I'm happy we were able to complete a project. Not a lot of people can say that. So again, just to let everyone know, in the links below, there's a place to vote. The voting will end tonight for the September Game of the Month series. Right now, it's a point-and-click adventure, which is going to be interesting to do. This game will be uploaded, the entirety of it, onto... I'm just going to actually upload the project folder. I'm not going to compile the game or anything, but I'm going to upload the project folder onto the Google Dropbox or Google Drive so that you guys can go ahead and download it with the link. That link will be down below, and for you guys to do whatever you want with. I don't care. So it's up to you what you want to do. Maybe you want to keep going with this and make it better. More power to you. Hopefully you do that. But again, hopefully you like the series. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you're looking forward to September. Please like, subscribe, comment. You can follow me on Twitch, Facebook, or Twitter. I try to update you guys on what's going on with me and the channel on those sites. I guess that's all I have. Again, look out for all the links below. You can download this, download whatever you want, and go ahead and vote for September. And I'll talk to you guys next time.